fans, and welcome to Wrestling Gab. That's Dalitha. I am Travis. It's Friday, and that means it's time for Friday Night Smackdown.
They're in Washington, D.C.
And they're in Washington, D.C., and we're watching it in Spanish.
Yeah, we're watching it in Spanish because Fox Sports app, the American version, doesn't fucking work.
Oh, it started out with Roman Reigns. That means we'll probably see Cody. But as for right now, it is Roman Reigns in the bloodline.
So it was supposed to, Cody was coming anyways. He even announced that he was going to be on SmackDown.
Okay. But not to meet Roman.
He just said he was just going to be here.
Right.
He didn't say anything about.
I said we might see Cody.
Do you think that he'll come down and confront him already? Ramit is in the chat. Hey, Ramit. Sophie is with us as well. Walter and Harley are with us tonight. Hey, guys. How's it going? You guys ready for your weekend? How was everybody's week? Sophie says, hi. Ramit says, Sammy and KO really both are cunning. They are never really in Uso's level. Walter says, hey, Travis. Hey, Dafty. Sophie's telling you on Twitter yesterday that WWE announced the first Hall of Fame class.
Oh, good.
And then it disappeared like an hour or two later.
Oh, who was in it?
Harley says,
did you screenshot it? What's
up, everybody? Happy Friday. Walter's booing Roman Reigns. Sophie wants to know who watched the Ring of Honor reboot.
No.
And Sophie also says the WWE also announced Sammy versus Solo tonight. Walter says Solo and Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman. Boo. All of them boo. We got Robert Warney in our chat as well now. And we have Piccola. Hey, Piccola. Nice to see you tonight. Robert says, hey, wrestling buddies. And Pickle says, hello, gabbers. Walter says, Sammy for the win over Solo. And Robert says, I'm off work tomorrow. I got some shopping to do tomorrow. Always sucks that you have to do shopping on your days off. Pickle says, I'm watching the Celtics play LMK when something happens on SmackDown. Oh, let me know. Sorry. Let you know when something happens on SmackDown.
Look at that one. That's Buffy. Do you hate it?
Nice.
Where do you hate Buffy?
Nobody hates Buffy. Like, who's the weirdo over on that side?
Dracula. Is he the principal or whatever? The Dark Lord?
Is that who it is?
I don't know.
The mayor?
Remember, he was the mayor, yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that the... I couldn't tell. He's in a weird shadow, so it's hard to tell who it is. Sophie says Stacy Keibler is the first inductee in the WWE Hall of Fame. Ramit says Sammy and KO really both are cunning. They never really are on the Usos level. Nice, Ramit. Sophie says that's what they said on WWE Twitter. Daz is in the chat. Hey, Daz says hi. How are you doing today? Great. How are you? How are you doing? Ramit says, can Trinity Fatu join the bloodline ever?
I mean, anything's possible, but I don't see her coming back to WWF anytime soon.
Right. Harley says, hello, Sophie. Robert says, good to see y'all and everyone again. Daz says, I am better than I was. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad that you're better than you were. On the uptick is good.
Better than I once was. Bam. Bloodline. So, to be the Spanish commentary, you have to repeat what the wrestlers say also.
Yes.
Where the English ones don't do that.
They don't have to repeat what the English people are speaking.
Right?
You're so weird.
It's weird to me.
I think it's weird that we have to watch it in Spanish. What the hell's up with Fox Sports?
That's another thing.
They're dumb. Sophie says, I'm getting the PS5 controller double charger theme because one of my controllers isn't fully charged. And the PS5 can't charge both controllers, which I don't know about.
Understandable. I didn't know you had a PS5. That's cool. Do you like it? What games do you have?
DCL TV says, where is Cora Jade? I haven't seen her wrestle in a while.
I don't know. I think she was injured. No, I don't want to say that. I can't remember what happened to her.
Walter.
Maybe they're just rebranding her a little bit.
Right. Walter says Cody Rhodes will be on SmackDown. That's what he said. So he says, how different is the Spanish commentary than American? It's in Spanish.
They tell you what the person is saying and what the person is doing, so they just talk the whole time.
Daz says, had a bit of a bad day in work. Oh, I'm sorry,
Dang
buddy.
it.
That always is a bummer. Well, don't let that define your days. Cabronis. Oh, okay, he's coming.
It's the American Nightmare.
Daz says 4 weeks till Mania.
Yeah, it is.
A
little under.
Desiel says she got to get in, man. She's great in the ring. Cora Jade.
Here he comes. The American Nightmare. This is the first time they've actually been in the ring together.
Sophie says, it is hard to find the reset button on the PS5 controller. It's a little dot.
Don't use anything sharp unless it's wood or plastic. But like a toothpick would work, but just make sure you don't jab it in there because it's not very deep.
Yeah. Walter says, yes, Cody now. Desile says, I'm scared WWE will screw Cora Jade and other NXT women up. Not going to lie.
They always do, but that's all right. They'll just change them and do things. And whatever they do in NXT, you know, it doesn't necessarily carry over to the main roster.
True. Harley says, at least I have my power on, unlike last Friday where I couldn't watch. Yeah, got power. That's good.
Power's good. You need to get a generator. You know, they have new generators. Have you seen these generators that they have now?
No.
They're just batteries.
Oh.
But they last just as long as a gas-powered one on one tank of gas.
Interesting.
But it's pretty cool.
How do you recharge it when you don't have power?
So it depends on how long you need it for, right? But most places aren't out of power for more than 12 hours. Most of them, right? Have we ever had one?
No, but there are people that are out of power for days. And we've had that problem. Maybe. Oh, all over?
No, it's cool.
Did you not? It's on your screen.
I know.
Travis. Getting it all excited over there. I don't have any napkins. I can't help you at all.
I don't know. Didn't we have a...
Yeah, there were tissues there. I don't know where they went.
Huh. That's weird. Cool. Cool.
That's terrible. I don't know how cool that
Close your
is.
mouth before you bite into a grape tomato.
Yeah.
Because it is now everywhere.
do not try to eat those with your mouth open.
Oh, did you not get some?
No. Do you want me to go get you one?
There's some on the floor right there. Do you have a stick?
No. I don't.
He's here to have a conversation. One-on-one, man-to-man. Dear God, just get me something. It's still... Anything's better than water going into my computer.
Bring up any paper towels for the kitchen. So I'm like,
Solo's wrestling Sami Zayn in a little bit, although I still think he needs to wrestle Cody. He just told him to stand down.
we don't know what's happening.
He's told him to stand down. He told Solo to stand down. That's why he got behind him. Because Solo was about ready to get bout it. B-O-U-T-I-T, B-O-U-T-I-T. That means about it. My buddy had a dog. We named it Bout It.
Yeah.
How
Nice.
cool is that? Looks like boogers.
It's pretty gross.
But it's edible boogers.
Is it?
I think all of boogers are edible. Does that make you more comfortable, Cody?
Let's get
Cody has a
comfortable.
bloodline. Maybe he should bring out Gold Dust.
Poor guy.
Just respectful to the belts. Just dropped it on the ground. No
Just
sweat.
one? Oh, both of them.
It's all over.
Didn't get it all.
I didn't see it over
Oh,
here. I was trying to
jeez.
get it off the keyboard.
Oh, yeah, it went on your screen and everything. They're having a standoff, Cody and Roman in the ring right now.
And we're watching it in Spanish, so it's a Mexican standoff.
Oh, jeez, Travis.
Well, it is. Let's talk about you.
Let's talk about you. 915 days.
To me, this is starting to get close. I don't know if Cody's going to win. And the only reason is because I think he's so close to 1,000 days. Mm-hmm. Unless they separate the belt.
Legendary.
Legend has become, or he's become legend. He doesn't need to have it printed.
Right. Sophie says, I even did the soft reset on the PS5 controller. Dad says, is it 2 or 3 weeks till the game comes out?
It's the, 16th, I think?
March, yeah. So a couple weeks.
A couple days.
Piccola says,
Looks
electricity
like
is helpful, Harley. Sophie says, I've been using a pin tip to try to find the reset button, and sometimes it is hard to see if I hit the button. Piccola says the Midwest has had some frequent storms and tornado watches this week. Yeah, heard that. Walter says, okay, at 9:15 my time, I'm going. Be here Sunday for AEW pay-per-view. I'm still in the chat. Sophie says AEW reality show premieres at the end of March. Robbie says, yo, what's happening, peeps? Not
Adam
much,
Cole,
Robbie.
baby.
How
They're
are
just
you
in
doing?
the ring chatting with each other.
Yeah, that's all they're doing, talking.
Cody says, for anybody else.
Sophie says, I've been through the whole no power for a week or almost a week before. It isn't that fun. Desile says, yeah, guys, I got WWE 2K playing it for a bit and made Cora Jade since she's my fave from WWE. I stopped getting into it because of the story matches, but I watch NXT a good amount and enjoy Cora, but I don't know where
Nice.
she went. Yeah, I don't know.
They try to cycle their women over there.
Yeah.
But she'll be back.
Daz says, yo, Robbie, how are you feeling today? Sophie says, it is also hard to clean the thumbsticks on the PS5 controller. Did you hear about Brock? He says he is winding down.
Yeah, I heard something, and I don't know how true it is, but that he wants to retire right after Mania.
Desile says, Roman staying strong is good for WWE, in my opinion.
It does. I mean, if they let him keep it till next year. Have you ever won that one? No.
Vindicator in the chat. Hey, Vin. This is Cody. Delete that. Travis.
Have you even competed for one of these, Roman said?
Piccolo says Roman just winked at me. No, I think he just has a twitch in his eye. It's fine. So he says, so if Roman does hit 1,000 days as champion, I wonder what pay-per-view it will land on. So he says, Cody kind of mentioned AEW in this promo. Laura says, Cody talking to Roman before WrestleMania. Desile says, also, I joined the pack. I subbed. Ooh, thanks.
Hey,
awesome. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Here's the kicker.
He's got kickers.
He'd been groomed since he was a little boy, which is terrible. You don't want to groom kids.
Not by just his daddy.
But by yours. And his father never trained Cody.
Right.
He got trained by his bro. And others.
Walter's like, come on, I want to fight. That's not going to happen, Walter. They're just going to yak at each other's faces.
I got trained by my dad and yours.
P. Collis says, well, conceited Roman. Sophie says, there is more news about Vince. Something about it is messing up the WWE to get this state at a lower price. Rye's like, D, what's happening? You set for SmackDown? Yeah, totally.
Let's talk about your dad, huh?
Vindicator says Brock should retire. Nothing left to prove or offer. He can take Jericho, Moxley, Punk, and Spawn with him. And Brian McDanielson.
There's a lot of people. If you're wanting all the old people out, there's a lot.
Sophie says, do you really think Roman will hit 1,000 days? I don't know.
It's a tough one, but it's such a good story that it can go all the way to Mania, whether he wins or loses at Mania.
Right. Robbie says, I got trained by my dad to love food. Nice. Robbie's like, do you love it, really? Do I? Thanks for letting me know what I like or don't like.
We would talk for hours. He's talking about his dad, telling him he had it.
Picole's like, you are it, daddy. Sophie says, do Brock versus Gunther at a Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, then retire. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
don't know
should
if
be
that'll
Brock's
happen.
last match.
Uh-oh. What did he say about Cody? What did his dad say about him? Wish he was you.
What did he say? Oh, nothing.
Nada.
Robbie says, D, you're so sarcastic. I love it. Pickle is like crickets. And Sophie's like, wow. And Jermaine Trevino's in the chat. Hey, Jermaine, nice to see you. Says, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand Roman.
We got Roman fans. We don't got Roman fans. We got everybody up in here.
I'm not a big
So you don't
fan
want
of
him to be a
Roman
1,000-day
myself.
champion? God, I wish he was here right now.
Sophie says Roman versus Cody. I don't see this feud ending at Mania, though.
I know you miss him. I miss him, too. Hey, they got something in common. Maybe Cody should join the bloodline.
Robbie says Roman is long. That's my issue. He takes too long. Marvelously in the chat. Hey, Marvelous is Roman. Yeah. Pickle's like, hate us. Can't they? Ain't us. Ew, gross.
Hate us because they ain't us.
Hate us. Can't. They ain't us. Sorry. There we go. Robbie's like, Cola, I hate you.
Here. Cody has a chance right now to shake Roman's hand, move in the same direction. Cody joining the bloodline next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Pickle's like, typo. Okay. Yeah,
It's all good.
it's fine. It's so funny.
I'm not even playing on the same field. You sent him to relay the real life situation.
Not to, whatever.
Play mind games.
Play mind games. Oh, man.
Daddy didn't love me!
Is that the real life situation?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Gervais says Roman isn't the tribal chief. The only tribal chief is The Rock.
I'm better than Dusty's actual kid.
Sophie says, but he has been Universal Champion
So
for
the
almost
son he
1,000
always
days.
wanted.
But he has been WWE Champion for almost a year. Walter says first match delayed due to promo and ring. Yeah, promo and ring, sweetie. That's taking like 30 minutes of our time. Robbie's like, LOL. And Sophie's like, who knows how long Roman would be champion if COVID didn't happen.
This becomes a necessity. The only way he can exist.
Is beating you at WrestleMania. The only way I can exist. Don't spray it. Just say it.
I think his is taught because his dad had it.
Yeah, maybe.
Dustin doesn't. I don't think that lisp are genetic. But he is getting better at it. It just pops out every once in a while.
Right.
Roman Reigns.
Kiko is like, oh, D, what? What's up? Oh, what?
Well, that just happened. Anyways, you guys that are in here hanging out in the back, make sure you're subscribing, giving us some thumbs ups, and chatting. Send us a chat.
Chat away. So he's like, that was an awesome segment. Do you think they will have one more face-off before Mania, or will this be the only time?
I think they'll probably have a couple more, at least that week going up to it. But they might not be, they might do it like a contract signing, which will get dirty.
Ooh, dirty. Gross.
We got Sami Zayn going up against Solo Sikoa here in a bit. Should be a good one.
People's like, adrenaline's in my soul. Yeah. Robbie's like, it's so good to be in bed. Yes, chat away. D loves a good chat. Jermaine says Roman was cool when he was in the Shield, but now
up next,
his
Liv
tribal
Morgan,
chief personality,
Rhea
not
Ripley.
really. And Walter's like, Liv Morgan for the win.
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
That's not it. Well, it could. I mean,
We
Charlotte,
hope and pray that things like that might happen, but...
Charlotte could interfere. Or whatever you want to call it. Distract. Which is interference to me.
So it says the pay-per-view this Sunday isn't as sellout as previous years. Oh, those bastards. Picole's like, okay, back to ESPN. And Robbie's like, I didn't like the Shield. Seth's so much better on his own.
Well, yeah, the Shield's old. We haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. I didn't mind it when it first happened. I really dig those days. Like 2012, I think, when they came.
Oh, I remember.
It was right around the same time as Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
I think it was 12.
When he was 12?
Yeah, when they were 12.
Nice. Or at least, like, always enjoying the channel. Fantastic. Jermaine says, let's go solo. You got the W. Will McAuliffe is in the chat. Hey, Will. This bloodline story has to end with Jay as tribal chief and champ. Not Sammy. Not Cody. Give me Jay.
Jay. I think they can take the titles out of it with Cody.
Yeah.
So Cody can take those and go elsewhere. And then Jay turns on the tribal chief at some point. But that could literally be into this year, WrestleMania next year, I think. They could keep this story going. They could also keep the title on Roman by doing something. I keep bringing it up just in case it happens. Sammy distracts and attacks Cody at WrestleMania.
Oh.
And all this is kind of a side story, but he's still in the bloodline, but it's hidden.
Right.
Because they could keep the bloodline story going longer that way. If Sammy joined back up. Remember, they did it with Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
It'd almost
but not
be a
for
rinse and
very
repeat.
long. It was just a minute, though, with him. He didn't
didn't
go beating people up, though. Sophie says, I heard AEW Dynamite wasn't that great this week. Robbie says, D, giving Liv credit for a win. Am I dreaming? No, Robbie, that's everybody else's dream. It's never going to happen.
I posted a highlight from one of the ladder match moments, and I've got like almost 200,000 views on it.
Nice. How many likes?
6,000 or something. I don't know.
Harley says, ready to see one of my favorite female wrestlers, Liv Morgan. She's facing Rhea Ripley.
Yep,
Pico
next.
says, to be honest, I enjoyed Seth more than Roman and Dean back then.
Yeah.
Old skunk boy.
Dean was very strange, and he still is. Like,
Right.
it hasn't
He's got
changed much.
issues.
It just didn't work in WWE, his character, as well as it is working, I guess, in AEW, where he wants to be bloody every week. Mm-hmm. Even this week, he was bloody because of last week and his promo, because they recorded it the week after.
Right.
He was like dripping blood on the concrete steps. I was like, what the heck?
Sophie says, I feel like the Jay storyline is going to lead to something major that nobody would think of.
Right. Which would be Sammy turning on Cody.
Will says, it would be great long-term booking from pandemic to now. I would love it. Harley says, don't get me wrong, I love me some Liv, but that doesn't mean she's winning tonight against Rhea Ripley.
Right, but remember, Rhea has a feud with Charlotte. So Charlotte's probably either going to be at ringside to start the match. You know how they do that? They'll come out and sit at commentary. Mm-hmm. Or she will show up during the match. Because they've only got, 4 more of these shows left?
Yeah. Jermaine says, big props to Becky and Lita, the new tag champs.
Heck
Film
yeah.
is in the chat tonight. Hey, Film says, hey, Piccola, love you. Big hugs, big heart. He also said, hello, Misty and Travis. Big hugs and big heart to you guys. Sophie says, AEW Dynamite ratings dropped big time from last week. They got like 8,000 viewers.
Yeah, Tony needs
Just
another
8,000.
big announcement.
To see. His big announcements are garbage.
He got over 1 million.
Robbie says, do you really do hate Liv? I thought it was just put on for the show. Robbie says, Rhea should smash Liv silly. Sophie says, with the pay-per-view this weekend, it will be interesting how they place the matches on the card. And his film says, what time is it?
Don't watch the clock. That's what I always say.
It's the back and knees time.
The back and knee.
Leg armpits. Leg pits.
Is that the leg armpit?
It's the leg
I
pit.
figured the leg armpit would be that side next to your private spot.
No, it's right here. It's the back of your knee. Because, you know.
Wouldn't that be this?
I don't don't know. Maybe. Why do my elbow insides smell?
The crease in my bicep.
Vindicator says Liv should win this, otherwise there's no point having it other than letting the fans see Liv. Robbie says, was that third hour of AEW any good? I fell asleep at the last match. There wasn't a third hour. That doesn't start until the end of March.
Yeah, that's not happening quite yet. You'll know when that's happening when Adam Cole wrestles on Dynamite. So that day...
We will not be here to watch it anyways.
I'm not going to do the third hour.
Pickle says, toe jam time, ? Jermaine says, I know this is off topic, but are you both hyped for Scream 6? Can't say that I'm specifically hyped
I'm not like planning on going and seeing it or anything, but I will watch it. I watched the last one. I thought it was pretty good. This one doesn't have all the same actors in it. It doesn't have all the old people.
Has Courtney Cox in it at some point.
That.
Sophie says match placement on pay-per-view cards matter, and it helps the buyers decide on if they want to continue watching the pay-per-view. Yeah, well, if you're going to pay for it,
$50
you're going to watch the whole goddamn fucking thing no matter what. Pickle says, Jermaine, we talk about movies and TV shows and other sports. Chat away.
Yeah, talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll pretty much cover it.
Robbie
we
says,
talk about some strange things in this chat.
Hey,
don't be
just dissing our Brady bunch.
All the way from armpits to food.
Robbie's like, I might go cinema for Scream 6.
All right, well, Liv Morgan getting tossed around
Robbie,
here.
Your sarcasm leaked through
Look at
the
that.
chat.
Liv Morgan just attacked her.
Walter says, go Liv, beat Rhea and Dominik, stay away from the ring. Film's all about those armpits and what time that is. And Harley's like, that's the... And Film says, it's Arbitrum. I love Rhea and Liv.
Now remember,
Robbie's
these
like,
guys were...
Is it
did they
okay
win the
to go
tag
to
team
cinema on
championships?
your own? What?
Were they tag team champions?
Liv and Rhea?
Mm-hmm. No. I mean, they were a tag team for a while. I just can't remember if they were champions.
I don't think they won. I don't know. Vindicator... Was Liv ever a tag team champion with Rhea?
I can't remember her.
I don't think so.
I think her first belt was that world championship. Oh, big knee.
Robbie says, D, is it okay to go to cinema on your own? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why can't you go on your own? Who cares? The only people that care are yourself. That's it.
Yeah, nobody else
The only person that stops you from doing it is yourself. You can go eat by yourself. You can go to the cinema by yourself. You can go do other things by yourself. The only person that stops you is you.
Right. Think about how many times you've went and you looked around and looked for people there by themselves. Never.
Yeah.
Right? Never.
Like, no. I don't
and
care.
if you did see somebody by yourself, you would assume 2 or 3 different things, right? Somebody's in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. He's there by himself enjoying a movie, or... He's an orphan. I don't know what the third one is, but either way.
Maybe he got stood up on a date.
Yeah, either way, you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, or friends are showing up during the movie or something. Plus, I don't know how many times you guys have done this, but I've done this before. Paid for a movie, I went to a different one. Like I was walking down the hallway and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was out. So I just walked in that one. But everybody I was with went to the one that we all paid for. I was like, I don't care. I'll come join you guys in a few, and then I'd watch some of it and then go in and talk to them and then come back. And I was very social back in the day. Look at Rhea Ripley. Mammy. Or is that Mommy?
It's Mammy.
Ma'am?
Mammy.
Well, I know it's an A. I just didn't know if there's a different way
to Mammy.
pronounce it.
Mammy. Mammy, 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 mammy.
All right, well, we're at a commercial break right now, but looks like Rhea Ripley's having her way with Liv Morgan. It's a lot of people's fantasy.
Yeah, not mine. Sophie says, I wish with pay-per-views they give you an option on if you want to stop at a certain point. Boom's like, no,
like
toes,
prorate
people,
it.
just armpits
Like,
only.
I'm just going to pay for the last match, so can I get that for $6?
Right? Pickle says, I've been watching interviews about the new Guy Ritchie film that opened this week. Which one is that film? Robbie says, D, why do you think I'm always joking? I don't know, dude. Sometimes you always joke, I guess. Pickle's like, I was being facetious, and he's saying that to film. Sophie says, the joke about AEW this week is that Vince and Bruce wrote the show. Robbie says, I go for dinner on my own sometimes. I've went to lunch many a times on my own. Jermaine says, I wouldn't blame Rey for hitting Dom because Dom was literally asking for it week after week. I usually take a book with me, by the way. When I'll go to lunch by myself, I'll take a book. I'll sit down wherever I'm at and eat and read my book.
Eat it.
Sophie says, is the Elimination Chamber a pay-per-view that you would watch again?
No, I don't watch pay-per-views over after I've seen them. Now, I will years later, but for right now, I won't watch it again.
Yeah. Piccola says, I carry a backpack and bring like 3 beers or sometimes buy a soda and carry 2 tiny bottles of Jack. Nice. There
Can't
you
go wrong there.
Right.
We used to take in beer also. We'd sneak it in. Usually it was hard in the summer because you always dressed in summer clothes. But in the winter, you put them in your coat. But I never thought about bringing a backpack. I don't even know if that would be frowned upon.
Well, these women bring in those ginormous bags. So you just got to have a woman that just has a big bag that they take with them. They take their biggest purse and just put all the stuff in it.
Yeah, but we would crack beers open and obviously bring the glass ones because the can ones are kind of loud when you open them. But
yeah.
good stuff. Lifesaver.
They serve.
This is a Gen Z commercial. What? I guess they have generational commercials now.
Uh-huh.
Why does it matter what generation you're in? You're all Americans.
Robbie says DTG has some cinema hacks. Walter says more new movies coming out. Looks good. Sophie says, what are your plans this weekend?
UFC.
Pay-per-views. Lots of them.
Oh, and then we'll be on air on Sunday. I forgot about that. We're going to be here for Revolution. If you guys want to watch AEW's Revolution with us, we'll be here.
Sophie says, what are your plans? Oh, I read that. Pico says, I wanted to watch Keanu, and it was sort of silly, so I walked into the theater next door. Keanu was cool. It was about a cat. Charda's in the chat. Hey, Charda says,
Charda.
Can you get started, please?
Well, we are watching it. Sorry. We can't show it. But I can tell you what's happening right now. Huh? I'm trying to figure out their names.
Starred, please? Can you get starred, please? Okay.
Yeah, let's start. Anyways, if that's what you're saying.
We're back to our match.
Liv Morgan, look at this. Her boots are undone again. No way. Week after week. You think she would just tape them up?
What the fuck? This one's different.
Well, yeah,
she went away from the ties, laces, and now she has straps that can't stay tight.
Buckles, yes. Her buckles unbuckled.
God, could you imagine if she whacked somebody in the face with it? That's just dangerous.
Oh, big kick to the cooter and then to the boobie. Wow, this is getting real. Liv Morgan going right after her. Into the ropes. Oh, I thought she was going to hit her with her finisher right there.
The movie's called Operation Fortune.
Huh, have not even heard of it.
Guy
I went
Ritchie
and looked today through kind of the movies that were coming out, like Creed 3 came out, Cocaine Bear. I watched the first scenes of that one just to see if it was any good, and it's goofy as goof.
Of course. Harley says, no, Travis, they did not win the women's tag team champions, but they weren't hurting and real quickly turned on Liv to join. Turned on Liv to join. Oh. Ravi says, yeah, going out on your own is calm, no stress. Sophie says there are AEW fans that don't like AEW pay-per-views because of how long they last.
They are long. We can't argue that. They are at least 5 hours.
Yeah, that is definitely a truthful statement. Walter says WWE 2K23 should be out in the mail soon.
Live with the big boot.
Robbie says, so D, Travis, is AEW pay-per-view on Sunday? Yes, it's on Sunday.
It is.
Walter says, Liv used moves to win. Robbie's like, yes, I will watch. Gonna watch football all weekend.
Liv's dead, guys.
After Whirl.
Liv died.
After work. Okay.
But it was a good match, but she's dead. There's no way she's winning it now. She's in a Texas cloverleaf.
Nobody's coming to save her.
There it is. She just tapped out. So.
Aww. Sophie says, doesn't AEW hype their pay-per-views like a month or two in advance?
Right.
Sure.
Sometimes it depends. Like, we don't know exact dates of stuff in WWE, but we're getting there. We don't know the May dates.
Charge, can you start please? Okay. We aren't going to show the match or show the TV, hun. We don't show any of the production. We could get copyrighted for that, so we don't show anything. We'll tell you what's going on right now.
Tell you what is
Liv
happening.
was beat by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley won that match against Liv Morgan.
There's a kid in the audience crying.
Oh, no. Crying kids.
See, she's a role model.
Ravi says Liv is lazy. Sophie says if Rhea loses, that will be bad. Walter says cool laptop I see on screen. Travis with people on there.
Yeah, it's Buffy. It's not the laptop. That's actually a desktop. There's 2 monitors, but you can't see them.
Let's see. Pico's like, threw her down like a sack of taters. Yes, sacks of potatoes. Robbie says AEW pay-per-views is a tough watch. Walter says Rhea won. Boo. Sophie says, imagine if AEW does a 2-night pay-per-view for one of their pay-per-views like WWE does with Mania, then they could do a 24-match card.
Yeah. 24-hour pay-per-view.
Oh, Jesus. Jermaine says, what do you both think of the Gigi Dolan and JC Jane storylines so far?
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We don't watch a lot of NXT. She doesn't watch it at all. I try to watch it after the show's over. So like right before I go to bed, and I'll kind of fast forward through stuff. So I'm not really in depth, but I did notice it. Like it's fine. I have a feeling that if Mandy was still there, they would still be together. Mm-hmm. And so they hurried and rushed the breakup.
Yeah.
And then the whole door kick thing was classic. She's like, I got my head broken against the door. Did you see? I showed you that, right? Where she got kicked in the door.
Maybe.
They were on the Ding Dong show.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and Gigi got super kicked. I think I showed you that part.
Possibly.
By James. Anyways, and then they put her head up against the door and she kicked it again, but like brutal. Like people on Twitter were going nuts. Why'd they do her so dirty? Hey. She got influenza.
She's got the influenza. They're like, but if you get the influenza shot, you won't get it. Bullshit. They just guess at which strain it is. They have no idea. They just guess. Well, this one might be at this year, so. People is like, oh no, not the crying kid. Yeah, I think they plant those in the audience for people to see.
No, kids are into this.
Sophie
I cried
says,
when I was that age.
It's funny.
Wrestling.
It's funny. Solo is facing Kevin Owens on Monday. Vindicator says Rhea making kids cry is the only thing she is great at. Liv will always be more popular than her. Sophie says, whoever does buy the WWE, good luck to them. Walter says, guys, SmackDown is on Fox on TV.
It is. It's on the Fox
right,
network. Yeah, I got cried once when I was a kid.
Cried.
Yeah, I was watching. It was a Saturday night main event, and Bobby Heenan and the boys attacked Hulk Hogan, and Andre the Giant splashed him. Or not Andre, sorry. King Kong Bundy splashed Hogan multiple times. This was right before WrestleMania 2. Broke his ribs, and they carried him out on a stretcher.
Right.
And I was a child, and I cried because a kid that was babysitting me said that they wouldn't show the highlight show because... So it happened pretty early in the show, and I don't know how long those shows were, but we'll just say they're 2 hours.
Okay.
So it would be like what we just saw with Roman and stuff, and then they splash Cody to death, right?
Right.
And then they carry him out on a stretcher, and then they just show Cody highlights for like an hour.
Oh, God.
Right? Like everything he's done, video reels, like, I don't know if they just didn't have any matches looking back, but at the time it was a big deal. And he's like, yeah, if they wouldn't be showing all this if he didn't die.
What a meanie.
And so, of course, I cried. And then I called my grandpa. My grandpa came and got me. And this is like Saturday night main event. So it doesn't even start till 11 o'clock where I'm at. So it's like midnight.
Like grandpa's coming to get you.
My mom's out at the bar with her friends. I'm like,
I wonder if your mom came home and was like, where's my kid? Because I'm sure nobody called her and said, hey, I got your kid.
Oh, no.
She just came home to a missing child.
And it wasn't like, hey, my grandpa's going to show up and be like, oh, he's not dead. It's fine. My grandpa got there. I probably didn't care anymore. I don't
Right?
know.
It's Grandpa. Yay!
I gotta get
out
of here.
House. La la la.
So this kid that was babysitting me started his cousin on fire.
Oh, that's right.
He poured gasoline on him and started him on fire in a barn.
It's a good thing that you survived.
And
babysitting
this
you.
is my babysitter.
That's probably why he told you the guy was dead.
Yeah, his name was Billy, and the other kid, his name was Corey, the kid that got burned, and he was there too. Corey, but he was all scarred because of the incident. He was completely like a weird-looking kid because I was a kid, and if you didn't look normal, you were weird. Like, I understand why he looked weird later, but I didn't at the time. But he had like metal plates and stuff. Like, you couldn't see him; they were obviously inside. But so the fire had burned him pretty good, and he had all sorts of grafts. And it was in the 80s.
Oh, poor kid.
So, oh yeah.
What a horrible brother.
Oh, it wasn't brother; they were cousins.
Oh, cousin.
Yeah.
No matter what a horrible person. Why was he even out on the street?
He ended up lighting their house on fire and burned it all the way down.
He sounds like somebody they should have put in Blackfoot's house.
So we got
In
the
Robbie's
bloodline on there now.
Treatment center needed to be.
Yeah, that was my
in a
baby.
straight jacket.
And my mom just is
with
like,
the rest
you
of
know
the
what?
arsons.
I have an
Arsonists.
idea. Let's let him watch
My child.
my
My
kid.
tiny child.
As he like
My
lights shit
young
on fire.
child who likes to light fires in houses and children on fire. Let's do that.
Go get him. So
Yeah.
Solo's coming out maybe next. Is that what's happening?
I know, but
That seems main eventy to me.
uh,
Solo.
Roman
and
was wondering where
Sammy.
Jay was, and Jimmy was like, "Oh, you know Jay, blah blah blah," and all that stuff. We'll see how that works out. Happens for him. Vindicator's like, I thought SmackDown was on TNT. Walter, wait, that's Rampage. Robbie says, "Oh, you can't guess." LOL. What? Who's not guessing? Tehran Gaming is in the chat. Says, "Hi, hey Tehran, how's it going?"
Good to see you in here.
Robbie says, "Wow, didn't know there was so many Liv fans. Who knew? I guess D knew." Walter says, "Will Ayla come over Sunday for pay-per-view?" Probably not, Walter.
No, not for this one, but I'm going to ask her to be here for the May one, I think. One of the May ones.
Yeah. Harley says, "What is your favorite alcoholic drink?"
Oh, probably beer. I mean, like, I know that doesn't sound right, but, like, because I drink beer, and I would get drunk off beer, and I'd have fun with beer. Every other liquid, no matter how good it tastes, usually didn't end up in good nights. Sometimes they would, but I don't like the liquor feeling when I'm drunk. I don't hate it, but I haven't drank in years now. But beer, it comes on slow, and it's kind of nice and gradual, and you can kind of control it.
Right.
But hard alcohol, it just comes on so fast, and it's heavy. And it's very easy to become belligerent, or I don't know how I'd be now. I might not be belligerent, but
Yeah, I really don't have a favorite alcoholic drink.
like you know what was really good though? So I'm gonna say Zima because it brings back beautiful memories. But usually I ended up puking it, but it was really good. Zima was good. Any of those, Mad Dog 40, whatever, that shit. Oh, God, that put you in a grave.
Robbie says, "I love Travis with his long stories." Hello. Grega John is in the chat. Hey, Grega says, "Hello, hello."
Hello.
Bray should have
Santa.
punched you in the face last week, Santos says.
I understand why you couldn't. Guess what I can. Santos Escobar's going to wrestle Rey. There's no way he beats Santos Escobar.
If he does, then they're really doing something stupid. Robbie's like, "Hit the likes." Yeah, hit the likes.
Hombre.
Film's like,
Hombre. I blew her a kiss. She's never seen a real man like that before. Yeah, Murphy's.
"Whoa, Santos."
That's a star, Santos Escobar.
Yeah. Film's all about sweating to the oldies. Sweating to Liv and Rhea. Sophie says, "I heard that the reboot of Ring of Honor is like 205 Live." Robbie says, "DLO had to empty one guy's piss bag the other day. That ish stunk."
I bet.
Why wouldn't it? It's piss. Of course it smells. Robbie's like, "I like Guinness." Sophie says, "If you do want to rewatch a pay-per-view, it could be from every promotion. Which one would it be?"
I would definitely watch any of the first 4 WrestleManias just for fun.
Picola says, this is true. What is true? What is it that's true?
The very first one, not a huge fan. But, think about this. The main event of the first WrestleMania was like, I don't want to say a mixed tag team because that's the wrong word, but a tag team match with a celebrity in it. It'd be like Roman and Jake Paul or Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and somebody else.
Oh.
That's the first ever main event.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Think about that. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't even do it. You wouldn't even book that way now.
Right.
But it was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Oh. Robbie says, or rum and coke. Get
and
us
then
a
they
rum
went
and
up
coke,
against Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper with Orton's dad in the corner.
Right. Sophie says, did you guys get hit with snow this week? We've kind of gotten snow off and on this week, Sophie.
Yeah, the outside right now looks like what December should look like. This looks like Christmas time outside. And it's March, so the sun's up later. And so it's tripping me out. Like, I'm like, why is it not nice outside?
Picola says, after years of drinking with Army Bros, I've decided it's worth sipping and tasting your drink, not getting wasted.
Yeah.
True that, Picola.
That's a fact.
Walter says, Santos for the win. Sophie says, I meant to say any promotion. Robbie says, D won't be rewatching the pay-per-views. Never. Fucking ever.
Any promotion. Yeah, I could go back and watch some Starcades from the NWA and the WCW days. For sure. I love the Starcades.
Yeah. Sophie says, if the main event of the first Mania wasn't a success, we wouldn't have Manias as we see it now, and the WWE would be out of business back then.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the landscape of wrestling would look like without. We knew it was going to happen, right? Like, if you read any of the books on the old school guys, they knew that somebody was going to eventually take it to television and that it would hit because it was popular in the 50s on TV. People really did enjoy it. If you talk to old people, like if you went to a nursing home right now and talk to old people, they will tell you about the glory days of the 50s of wrestling. Like Buddy Rogers, and there were some good wrestlers back then. The Nature Boy is Buddy Rogers, by the way. And that's where Ric Flair got it. He took it from him and then kept it going. I guess Charlotte's keeping it going now. I don't know.
Is she?
You don't really have that character right now. But
Robbie says, why are the Bellas getting so annoying on social media? I see some bozo clip of them advertising some new show they are hosting, Twin Dating, LOL.
Huh.
Oh, God.
That's cool.
Maybe
No, I did not know.
To make money, I guess.
I had no idea that they were doing any of that.
The Wyatt Rabbit in the chat says, top news, Trinity Fatu is now taking bookings. Her first appearance will be at WrestleCon Los Angeles, March 30th through April 2nd. What a very interesting, if she was signed to WWE, it would be announced Naomi 100.
Right, yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, and is she going to go to AEW? Or is she going to go to New Japan with Sasha? Or Monet?
Whatever her name is.
Mercedes Monet.
Sophie says, my grandma went to the very first Mania.
See, that's sick. That's awesome. I was a child.
Right.
Good stuff, though. You can't go wrong with those original Manias. I think I watched the first 13 of them when we had puppies. When I was outside 24 hours a day back.
Oh, yep.
Basically living in the backyard.
Right.
All right, here's Santos Escobar. He brought a mask out with him. Is this normal?
I have no idea. The Wyatt Rabbit says most of WrestleCon are AEW top stars like Britt Baker. That's cool. Harley says you have to choose one and this for the rest of your life between Mexican food and Chinese food.
I probably would go Chinese.
Would you?
Health-wise, because you could get more fish and rice.
That's why I would do Mexican.
I figured as much, but...
Not because they eat terrible. They eat healthy stuff. They eat a lot of vegetables. Vindicator says, hopefully Santos squashes this third-rate chump in 2 minutes so we can move on to more important matters.
Yeah, and it's happening. And Rhea's coming back out.
Sophie says, we don't know how much different wrestling would look like if the first Mania wasn't a box office success. Like, we wouldn't get WCW or TNA or even AEW and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, you would wonder if there would still be the territories, or if somebody else would have just came up and made TV. Because Ted Turner wouldn't have. He only did that because of Vince McMahon. But Vince had a dream, and he followed through with it, and the rest is history. And he had a guy that, hitched the trailer to, which was Hulk Hogan, that could carry the company to great popularity.
The Wyatt Rabbit says, what's the best barbecue restaurant in your city?
I don't even know if we
don't
have
really
one.
have a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know if we even have one.
We do have a
McDonald's chicken wings, or whatever they're called, the nuggets.
Oh my God.
Best one in town.
No, oh my God. Seriously.
Come on. It's funny.
We do have a food truck that actually does a really good barbecue that's around during the summertime. That's pretty good. Sophie says, how often do you guys go out to eat?
I haven't eaten out in like 2 years.
When I'm bored. Just kidding. When I don't really want to make myself food, I usually do. I probably won't do that.
Damn, he just drop kicked him and something white flew out, and I don't think it was gum. It was either sweat or freaking teeth.
Gross.
What's up with the masks? Look,
Pico says,
that's your legacy.
Thanks for the history lesson.
Do you respect your legacy? It's your legacy. It must be your... Oh, he spit on it. Oh, Santos is going to kill him now. That's your legacy, and he spit on it.
Piccola, when you're saying, thanks for the history lesson, you beg to differ. What are you begging to differ about, and what history lesson are you talking about?
Go back in on that arm. Look at this.
Give him the old 1-2.
Oh, it's like a bow and arrow.
The Wyatt Rabbit says TNA is the old name when Dixie Carter was in charge.
Yeah, TNA and Impact.
Film says, yes, Rhea out there again twice. Sophie says, do you guys have Wendy's? Yes, Sophie, yes. We have a Wendy's. Film says, I love you, Mommy, Rhea Ripley. And Pico says, I think if Five Guys were closer to my house, I'd be there just about every day.
They have really good hamburgers.
The only thing about their hamburgers I don't like is they aren't seasoned. And so I usually always have to put salt and pepper on their hamburgers before I eat them.
Ketchup.
But they are very good. They're very expensive, but they are good. The Wyatt Rabbit says, Dalitha, what your opinion on Bray return? I'm fine with Bray returning. I just wish that his return wouldn't be the Funhouse Bray. I really don't like that Bray. He kind of annoys me. I liked him as the old school, like Bray Wyatt, when he was the Wyatt family and stuff like that, more so. I enjoyed his character a lot better. I think him and his excuses as to why he's not going to do that anymore, for respect for Brody Lee, I think is just a bunch of horse pucky.
Well, he's still using it. I think that right now they're just kind of mixing all his characters up.
I think that, the reason why he doesn't go straight to being that character is because of Brody Lee. And I think that's just a bunch of bullshit. I think it's just his excuse to just be more weird. Sophie says, Santos and Rey, I could see them building that feud for SummerSlam. Why would Santos and Rey have a feud, though? I mean, because Santos is beating up his child because Rey can't slap him.
Is Rey going to stick around? So Santos is going
to beat his ass instead? Somebody should teach a little
I feel like Rey was close to retiring during the pandemic, and they kept this going so they could have this match with him and Dominik.
Yeah. So Dominik could pretend he was a real wrestler.
I just figured they would both leave after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I figured that's why Dom was still on TV.
Robbie says, what's your opinion on Kevin Owens? What my opinion about what specifically about him? Like what in general? Or?
Do you like about Kevin Owens?
Sophie says, Dixie Carter, how bad of a wrestling owner she became, huh? And look where Impact is now. What?
What? She doesn't know who Dixie Carter is.
I have no idea who these people are. I'm glad I don't know who these people are.
Old Dixie. I remember the Dixie days.
Robbie says 5 Guys use peanut oil. Yes, they do. They do use peanut oil. So if you're allergic to peanuts, do not go anywhere near or around a 5 Guys.
Driving down the street,
If you breathe in the air, you might die of asphyxiation, anaphylactic shock
Is that a
issues.
thing?
I think it could be. If you were deathly allergic.
I know the powder, you can.
If you were deathly allergic and there were the grease vapors, because you think about deep frying, right? And it just like has this like weird air.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. But does it
Could you imagine
you
couldn't date anybody that worked there? You couldn't be around anybody that if you had like a deathly allergic peanut allergy, you literally couldn't be around them. Pico says WWF had WrestleMania 3 or 4 months after Starrcade. Starrcade was Dusty's idea.
Yeah.
And also he did War Games was his idea before WWE took it over.
Yeah, I liked the War Games back in the old days. They had the roof on the cage, and it was really short. So I think they were like a normal-sized cage, but they put it over the ring, and then so once they did that, they're like, oh, crap, this is pretty short. So the wrestlers could literally, when they were doing their gorilla presses, would just smash their opponents into the ceiling. So there wasn't no high flying. You couldn't high fly because there was a roof, and it was right above the ring.
Sophie says, I wished we get more story on why Bray is going after Bobby. Pico says, yeah, the territory is Memphis down to Florida, where the stuff I grew up on, so I have no love for WWF wrestling in New York.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, and in Texas, they had theirs. But yeah, I could see the east or the lower East Coast.
Sophie says, and we know the first Rumble happened like a year or two after the first Mania. So it was like Dixie Carter ruined Impact, aka TNA.
What was it called? The Royal, not Royal Rumble. What's the other one? The one in November. The Thanksgiving one. Survivor Series. Oh. Survivor Series was the second pay-per-view that WWE did. So somehow Dominik is whooping up on Santos Escobar.
Uh-huh.
I know Prison changed it, but I didn't think he was, like, tough.
Cola says, I mean, when McMahon Sr. bought out all the finest wrestlers from every territory and turned them into job gimmicks, I mean, as a kid, that's wonderful, but honestly, hold for hold wrestling was NWA.
Yeah, the NWA was awesome. That was the the Georgia territory stuff.
Sophie says, in Mystique being allergic to stuff, that means you can't eat certain things that you're used to eating. Vince wouldn't have brought War Games to the main roster if he was still in charge.
Yeah, I mean, or he would have, right? Because we never seen it.
Pico says, the blue steel cage, that was their WWF gimmick.
I showed her what that looked like. That's my favorite cages, or those ones. Even though I did watch the NWA more, by the way. I really did like Ric Flair and Nikita Koloff and Sting when I was growing up. Sting kind of came in a little bit later, although I was a little kid even when Sting showed up.
Right.
Like, I feel like I've been watching this since I was like 2. So I just remember the growth of the company and
Vindicators saying what I was kind of thinking. I don't approve of this making Santos look weak just to put over Dom for a Daddy versus Brat Mania match.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't like it either.
I think Santos Escobar has hurt himself.
Pico says Saturday Night Main Event. I watched just about every one of them in the 80s.
Dude, one time I fell asleep and woke up and it was over and I cried. Yeah, that's weird. So Rhea beats Santos Escobar with a riptide. That has got to be the worst I've ever seen.
Wow. I'm not impressed by this garbage of shit that
I don't like that. But it's part of the storyline. I get it. But Santos Escobar losing to Dom because of a move from Rhea.
So if it says, wonder if there was no WWE that would USA Network and Fox have since there is no Raw or SmackDown.
What?
I wonder if there was no WWE, what would USA Network and Fox have since there is no Raw or SmackDown?
Well, Fox would be fine because they've been fine forever. And, I mean, USA would be fine also. But maybe they'd play old reruns of, I don't know, movies.
Is he gonna
dating things.
Is he going to rip it?
That's your legacy. He's ripping his legacy.
Robbie says, D, you said it was the match you were looking forward to. Calm down versus his dad.
I thought maybe Rey would show up behind him, but he did not. Oh, there he is. Okay, Rey coming up from behind.
Pugol says, but when WCW did Clash of the Champions and I witnessed Sting and those others, I was hooked.
Yeah. Sting was a game changer. But like I said, I did like the Road Warriors, and I loved Nikita Koloff. And so all that side stuff I liked better than the Horsemen, even though I love the Horsemen also. Remember Magnum PI? Or Magnum TA, sorry. Magnum PI, I think that was a movie.
It was a show with Tom Selleck.
Magnum
Sophie says
TA.
WWE did bring back Saturday's night main event like 20 years ago or close to it, but for some reason they dropped it.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. It has to be on when Saturday Night Live is on. They have to take Saturday Night Live off and put it on. And it worked back then because 30 million people would watch it. Hit him!
Robbie says condom is bad. LOL. Sophie's like, wow, John beat Santos. Chris says, Chris Akani's in the chat. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Says live looking like streetwalkers down here in Texas.
Shit!
Need to go by the rodeo.
Big forearm. Ray goes down like a sack of potatoes.
Pico says, well, if you're asking what if WCW won the Monday Night Wars, then I'm guessing they would be on USA. Robbie says, was Ric Flair better in WCW?
It's not like they lost the Monday Night Wars, right? And then went away because they lost the Monday Night Wars. They went away, even if they would have, quote unquote, won, because they kind of were a better product at first. It went downhill quick. But the reason they went away is because Ted Turner sold it. Like, he sold his company. And the new owners didn't want wrestling, so they just spun it off. And that's why they sold it for like $5 million. A lot of people could have bought that, but they didn't realize that they would get it for so cheap. And Vince's like, I'll give you $5 million for it. They're like, oh, I think it might have been $4 million. And he's like, all right, here. And he bought it. And then he buried everybody from it, which kind of sucked. When you do an invasion angle, you cannot have everybody lose on the one side because it makes everything look stupid.
Yeah, Pico says, ironically, both Magnums had big mustaches.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. And the one got in a motorcycle wreck, which was terrible.
Sophie says, WCW almost did win the Monday Night Wars. They did beat Raw 83 weeks straight. Chris says Rick was the best in NWA.
Absolutely.
Pico says, Ravi, it depends. He was in his prime and he had the Horsemen. Chris says, Rick went downhill in the 90s because he had beef with Eric Bischoff. Sophie says, when Vince bought WCW, there was talk of him bringing back WCW Nitro on USA Network. Pico says, in NWA, he headlined just about every Starrcade. He was the OG John Cena.
Shit, the first Starrcade is Flair for the Gold or something like that. Like, it's literally his name in the title of the pay-per-view. And he's going up against Harley Race, which was a legend in the Kansas City area at that time. Actually, I think he was a legend through the whole world at that time, but he grew up in the Kansas City area.
Mitzi's in the chat. Hey,
Mitzi
says, what is your problem, kid? Talking about Dom and his little issues.
He needs a spanking.
He needs to be fucking put over Ray's knee and spanked with a big fat paddle. What's happening tonight? Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa.
Big Drew McIntyre.
Sometime tonight.
That is a huge man.
Sophie says the WWE did botch the invasion storyline. They brought all the D-level WCW superstars. And Pico goes, oh, Harley Race. That's a CM Punk guy.
Yeah, old Race. He died a few years back, but he was the shiznit in the 80s and early 90s. He was a king. He was one of the kings. You know how they have the King of the Ring? Mm-hmm. King Ray, Harley Race. Huh. There's this one segment where they had him, and he wrestled the Junkyard Dog. I think it might have been WrestleMania 3.
Talking about kings, has anybody heard anything about Jerry Lawler?
I'm sure he's fine, or we would have heard something.
I know that Walter had come in and said that he had like a stroke or something.
Yeah, he was in pretty bad shape there for a while. but he went home. He has to relearn stuff.
Chris says apparently Eddie Kingston quit AEW, aka Storyline quit only to join Ring of Honor.
I sent you that, right?
Yeah.
I quit AEW.
Film says, what? Wow, Rey Mysterio, come on, Mysterio, get yourself together. Robbie's like, was the 4 Horsewomen a letdown in WWE?
Of course. It never happened. I mean, it obviously it happened in NXT, but it did not happen on the main roster. They were never together, the 4 of them. Trying to remember if were they together when they took on Nikki and Fox, the Divas, when they first came up.
I don't remember.
When they first came up, they might have, but I think Paige was part of that team, so I don't even know if they were all 4 on there, because I think it was Paige.
Picola says Harley prior to WWE was a badass.
Oh yeah.
Sophie says they could have saved the Invasion storyline for like a year later, where they could have all the main event WCW stars.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do is wait for their contracts to expire. I think they were overpaid. And if they were to be on, I can't remember, so I'm just speculating too. But I think if they would have wrestled, they would have had to have paid them extensions on their contracts. And so they were waiting for their contracts to expire. And so they didn't use any of their A-level athletes, I believe. And then once they expired, they had nowhere else to go.
Right.
And so then they could sign them for whatever they wanted to, because there was no other companies, really.
Right.
I believe that's what happened.
Picola says Sting refused to sign with WWE. And Sophie says it took, WWE 13 years to finally sign Sting?
Yeah, they signed him for a minute, and I don't remember what year that was, but yeah, something like that. It's when he wrestled, who did he wrestle first? Because I know he ended up wrestling Seth, but I think he wrestled somebody else first. Was it Triple H or something? I can't remember.
Picola says, and the top WCW guys were getting paid extended contracts, so there wasn't any reason for Goldberg, Luger, Flair, DDP to immediately work with the E.
Right. Yeah, and their money was paid to them and then written off by Turner when they were bought out.
Robbie says, what do you enjoy about wrestling? Hanging out with you guys. Picola says, and trash Vince. He couldn't just put together Taker and Sting once. I mean, that's the goddamn dream matchup.
Right. Everybody kind of wanted to see it, and it just never happened.
Huh.
They even could have done it the cinema style.
Yeah.
So they could take care of both of them.
Chris says the 4 Horsewomen on paper, Sasha was supposed to be the star. Billy was the best technical wrestler. Becky was an afterthought at the time, and Charlotte was Rick's daughter.
Right. Yeah.
Sophie says, thanks to WCW folding, both Ring of Honor and TNA were born in the same year within a month of each other. Chris says Sting fought Triple H in 2015 Mania when Seth in 15 got injured and left WWE. Also had a team-up segment with Randy Orton. Film says, okay, guys, I know this is a little short, but I got to go to wake up early to clean the church. So look at you guys later for AEW Rampage, if not Monday Night Raw. Bye. Peace out. Bye, Film. We'll probably not be doing Rampage. We'll be here for the pay-per-view AEW on Sunday
Revolution.
if you can join us.
If you want to join us around 7.
Otherwise, we'll see you
Eastern.
Monday. Sophie says Sting did meet Triple H in his only Mania match. Ryan says, damn honored you like hanging out with us. Piccolo says, yeah, way after his prime. Happy that Sting was doing his thing in TNA. Film says, love you guys. Bye. Piccolo, love you too. Don't ever forget it. Big heart, big hugs. And God bless all the armpits of women. Piccolo says, but would could have been.
Would could have been.
But would could have been. Sophie says, I think they were building towards a Sting Taker match.
Yeah, probably right up until Seth broke his neck. When he buckle bombed him. I think that's what did it. But I could be wrong. It might have just happened at some other part in the match. I mean, it's not like it's Seth's fault. Sting was older and it was just a bad incident.
Right. Robbie says, so have the New Day split up?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are
they not tag team champions anymore in NXT? Who's the tag team champions in NXT? Did they lose?
Sophie says they could have done Sting versus Undertaker at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view instead of that horrible Oldberg versus Taker.
Well, you didn't like the brain buster on Undertaker where it looked like he was going to die?
Chris says, Travis, do you like Bubba Ray Dudley in TNA Impact as Bully Ray? He's killing it right now, but also heard he never actually got along with his tag partner, brother Devin Dudley.
Devon? I have a hard
Sorry.
time believing that he didn't get along with him. That would be weird because they worked together for like 20 years.
Vindicator says, Travis, I don't know how you and Dalitha will get through WrestleMania this year, which could be the worst Mania ever.
We'll make it. WrestleMania is a spectacle on its own, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Picola says, Brits, what's their names? Brits what?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the two, like the fashionable guys.
Are they the ones that wear those weird shirts?
Yeah. They're the champions now, huh?
That's weird. Vindicator says only 2 interesting matches on the card, which is Roman versus
doing,
Cody
huh?
and Kevin and Sammy versus the Usos.
What, are they splitting them
Saying
up
nothing
already?
personal. I guess Sheamus and Drew McIntyre are having a row.
A little bit, I think, because I think it's going to be a 3-way for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh. Chris says Gallus, a.k.a. Viking Raiders 2.0, are NXT champs.
I don't know who that is.
Some group named Gallus. They're like the Viking Raiders, as he's saying. Robbie says, why are the New Day in NXT?
No.
I don't know.
No stories
why
for
they're
them on the main
there.
roster, maybe? They're in there, though. They come on every Friday.
Sophie
I haven't
says,
seen them this Friday, though. But.
Sophie says the New Day is going to be together 10 years. I think that is the longest a trio has been together. They aren't a trio anymore, and they haven't been together 10 years, Sophie. Big E left the group long ago, like a few years ago. So, in all reality, they weren't back together. They split them up. Vindicator says that is dreadfully pathetic for the so-called biggest wrestling company on the planet. Sophie says the Mania card sounds good on paper. Piccolo says currently it's a group called Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang.
Huh. Yeah.
Don't know him.
I don't even know who that is. I'll have to check it out.
Chris says exactly my thought, Travis, but they are videos of wrestlers questioning Bubba about where is Devon. Bubba said, I don't fucking know, like if he didn't care.
Well, and Devon was also in WWE until a month ago. So maybe he couldn't talk. Yeah, he wasn't wrestling. He was...
Oh, like a backstage guy or something.
Yeah. LA Knight's out here with the big guys.
He's like, cut my music. Robbie says, where did Gallows and Anderson go? They're waiting for AJ Styles to get better.
Yeah, I think they're on just the side.
Sophie says, remember when NXT was the talk of the town? Walter's like, Drew and Sheamus talking. Yes, Walter, they are. And Robbie says, is AJ Styles on a break? No, he broke his ankle.
Yeah, he got hurt.
They thought it was a sprain, but they found out it was an actual break.
Yeah, he broke it, so he could be back right before Mania, so they could still maybe get him involved. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just wait until the day after Mania, maybe on that Raw.
Walter says, okay, bye, guys. See you Sunday for AEW pay-per-view. Bye, Walter. Have a great night.
Oh, here comes the New Day.
See you on Sunday.
How funny is that? Drew and Sheamus are in there arguing. LA come out, and they didn't even look.
Right? They're like, you're worthless.
They don't even know he's there.
Pico says, nice coding, but not in here, homie. See you, Walter.
It's like LA's like, what the fuck? Not one person notices I'm even here.
Sophie says, there is a battle royal going to take place in Madison Square Garden at a house show to decide Gunter's WrestleMania opponent. Chris says, LA nighttime. And Sophie says, oh, great, another Sheamus Drew feud.
What are we going to have, a fatal 4-way tonight? Hey, there's the New Day together. They're apologizing on behalf of LA Knight. All right, here we go.
Vindicator says, I wish they would do LA Knight versus Seth at Mania. A good match between two of the top 4 best talkers in WWE. Chris says maybe Bray Wyatt eliminated LA Knight from existence.
Yeah.
Sophie's like, when AJ Styles comes back, they could restart the feud between him and Finn.
Yeah, obviously they'll have to wait till after Mania for that because of Edge.
So weird. So is this Riddle and Orton are rumored to be on their way back?
LA Knight can't even win a match on SmackDown. Who's this? Is that Kross?
Yeah, it's
Karrion Kross without the lights off, without the black and white? He's coming out to color? What is this?
Because he's in his street clothes to everybody else.
What does she have on?
She's got ruffles.
Just
ridges.
1 foot ruffle?
Ruffles have ridges.
Yeah, she does. She has a lot going for her, especially ridges. So now we got Kross out there looking like Tony Montana.
Sophie says a new,
LA from behind. Hits Kofi.
a new day LA Knight feud.
You don't do that. LA threw Woods right into the back of McIntyre.
And a shamey.
And LA goes over the top. What does he have on his belt right there? It's his suspenders. Like, does he have like a blunt object? It's a suspender.
His suspenders that he doesn't have really on.
Whoa, Drew.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
What the fuck was
Hopefully
that?
Kofi's knees.
Hopefully
okay.
nobody's dead.
Oh, Kross came in, hit Sheamus. Threw Sheamus right into that ring post, and he spills to the outside.
Ramit says, is this possible Brie Bella and CM Punk can sing in AEW Revolution 2023?
Yeah, let it happen.
Pico says, what the fuck happened to Kross? Like, what do you mean what happened to him? Like, did he, like, something with his face? Heidi says, the way Kofi mocked LA Knight made me laugh hard.
TikTok. He's pointing at his invisible watch. He should have a Fitbit on.
Picola says he came right out of Vice City.
Right? Looking like, as I said, Tony Montana.
Robbie says, D, does your boy wrestle anymore, Apollo?
Yes, he's in NXT.
Not mine, he's not mine.
I don't know if he's still with General Azeez, though. I think General Azeez is down there, but I don't know if they're together.
Chris says, LA Knight and Scarlett cue the Triple X music. Sophie says, pretty soon it is going to be a year since Big E got injured. Pico says, Jesus, Kingston trying to catch Drew with his face.
Yeah.
Sophie says, this is the throw random stuff together to see what sticks segment. I was like, D, did you make any new recipes? No.
This Tuesday.
I was thinking about making a new recipe tomorrow, though.
So Roadblock is going to be just a show. They're just naming it Roadblock. Just one of their Tuesday shows.
Right. Chris says Azeez turned on Apollo on NXT. There's all your Apollo information, Ravi, from Chris. Talk to him about it. He's your man.
Oh, there was that kick. So it's going to be a pretty good little show next Tuesday. I might have to watch that one.
Please don't include me in that. Ravi says, yeah, which recipe? This person, it's weird. This person calls it lemon lasagna. Okay. It's not lasagna, though. It's just a layered dessert. So, lemon layered dessert. Sophie says, how many people actually care about NXT? Thousands upon thousands, Sophie.
Yeah, at least 600,000 that watch it. And there's probably more that watch it like I do. So maybe another 100,000. So 700,000 people watch it. I think they'll grow when they start traveling. If they can get out of that little arena, because it's smaller than like a school gym where they're at. You can see there's only like 8 rows of fans. And I don't know if they have any on the other side. You know, on the camera side, the hard camera, whatever they call that.
Right.
And so I think they'll do better when they get out and they start traveling and they start to fill up buildings. Even if there are only 1,000 people there, it's way more than that's there now.
Right.
It would look better on television. And they could probably sell more tickets because when they go out, they can always bring stars on with them to sell more tickets. Have Roman Reigns show up. Not on the television side of it, but as a ticket seller. Obviously, you're not doing Roman, but you see what I'm saying. Sheamus, Drew. People pay to watch that stuff. And it's not like they don't have names, and they have such women there right now that they might be able to sell tickets just by some of the women that they have.
Right. It's possible. Let's see. Ravi says, I'm not that interested in Apollo. Dude, I'm less interested because I didn't even ask. You're the one that was asking.
And they could also, when they go live, they could do it every 2 weeks and then record 2 shows at a time.
Oh, yeah. They could do that.
And then that way it's easier to sell out stadiums every 2 weeks rather than weekly.
Right. Pico says, I'm counting 6 or 7. 6 or 7 what?
Fans that watch NXT.
That watch NXT. Ravi says, lemon dessert. Ravi says, D, what's your fave dessert minus ice cream? Ice cream is good. I would probably say that one of my more favorite desserts was my mom's peach cobbler.
I like anything cobbler.
That was really good. And the other thing that she would make was this pudding. It was like a cornstarch pudding with Bing cherries in it, because my mom would can cherries when we were kids. So she'd can Bing cherries, and then she'd heat those up and make a pudding that went with them.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Sounds good.
So, those are probably my favorite desserts. But
anyways, we are at a commercial break for the wrestling. I don't make either one of them,
but I have made peach cobblers before. But next? I don't make like the peach cobbler like what my mom made. This is different.
Looks like the fans are getting excited. What's going on? Earlier today, this is in the back.
So he says, did you see the report saying AEW Dynamite got like 8 or 9 million of viewers every week? No. Piccolo says, Travis, what do you think about Cameron Grimes?
I don't mind Cameron. I'm not big on him. Like, I don't love him, but I don't hate him. Like, he's usually pretty good with his storytelling. I like when he was all rich. He's throwing money around.
Right.
Because he won the stock market thing or whatever he did. But anyways, this is earlier tonight, so I did hear that they wrote Ronda Rousey off of tonight.
Oh.
But I don't know why.
Shayna's attacking.
So yeah, Shayna's got the...
so Ronda got hurt, maybe?
I don't know. And it looks like...
maybe she got hurt.
So Ronda might be hurt.
I guess she got attacked by Candice
but she is on tonight, so never mind. Well, at least Shayna Basler. Oh, no, there she is. But she's not wrestling.
She's got her arm in a sling.
So I wonder if she really did get something, like tweak or something.
I don't know.
Because she was supposed to wrestle tonight. I posted on the TikTok, but she's like, what's her name? Because she didn't know her name. She's like, it's Tegan Knox. And she's like, all right, Skittles. She started calling her Skittles. You're going to taste the rainbow next week, Skittles.
James Howell is in the chat. Hey, James says Friday Night Smackdown is fire. Vindicator says this show will be over in 15 minutes and only 2 matches took place during that time. Like, seriously, this is not even wrestling anymore. Just garbage soap opera theatrics.
All right, Natalia coming down. Yeah, there hasn't been very many matches, but there's more than 15 minutes.
Sophie
there's
says
a half hour.
NXT in the old days didn't travel on the road that much, only for pay-per-views and random times. Piccolo says, it's on fire, ? Better get that extinguisher. Remy says, is any chance Brie Bella seeing an AEW Revolution 2023? Probably not, sweetie. Carter is in the chat. Hey, Carter says, do you guys have any WWE Elite action figures? If you're talking new school ones, no.
I haven't bought any for a few years. I do have some somewhere. I have no idea where they're at, by the way.
That's weird.
But I have a whole bag, like a big bag of them.
Huh.
But I have no idea where they're at. I know I have 2 Randy Ortons in there, but I don't know where they're at.
Pickle says, I love a good cheesecake and flan.
Can't go wrong with cheesecake. So Tegan Knox in there right now with Shayna Basler, and that is a match, and it is underway.
James Howell's laughing at Pico's comments, and Pico says sometimes a tiramisu. Yeah.
So Natalia came out with her, and she's on the outside. What is this, a tag team that I don't know about? Break her arm, Shayna!
Pico says
she got grabbed by the legs.
Tiramisu. Robbie says never had peach cobbler. It's actually pretty good, Robbie.
Rolls her through.
Look it up, American peach cobbler. Just do a Google search for it or something. Sophie says, do you guys have a Chili's? No, not anymore. We used to have a Chili's, and there
it was, stomping right on that elbow.
Pico says Chili's is mid. Yeah, I agree. Carter says peach cobbler is so good, right? Robbie says, oh yeah, I don't mind rice pudding my dad makes. I add chocolate spread in it. Yeah, I don't have rice. I don't eat rice pudding or anything like that. It's like cornstarch pudding is what my mom would make with
Tommy Fury
cherries.
out there with her jab.
It's funny. Vindicator's message retracted. And Sophie says, do you think USA Network might cancel NXT? No. Vindicator says, now a lame Basler match, 30-minute break, guys.
Yeah, it's not the greatest when she comes out. It's very slow. It's a Daniel Bryant type style. But if you like it, and more power to you.
Chris says, because Ronda didn't want to lose at Mania, she wants to win tag titles with Shayna at Mania. Sophie says, nobody wants to get hurt, especially since we are 4 weeks away from Mania. Robbie says, D, is Lars Sutherland still about?
Sullivan?
Is that
Lars,
the guy?
That was the weird one that was saying the anti-gay stuff.
Oh, and then he was like, he was bullied?
Yeah, well, he had the anxiety issues.
Okay. Pickles, dude, I have no idea. Like, you're lucky
no
I
idea
even
where
kind
he
of
is
know
or what he's doing.
his name. That's as far as it goes.
She's going to break her arm. Shayna's
break it.
She tapped her. Tegan Nox taps immediately.
Good.
She's not breaking the hold, though.
Just break it. Pickle says, weren't the Mean Girls beating up on Rackrod and Shotzi months ago? About time they get their receipts. Robbie says, WWE has gone downhill. And Sophie says, they didn't cancel the tag match. They just changed it to a singles match. Right. Robbie says, Brie and Nikki act like they have it hard a little to look after their kids.
Oh, it's Imperium.
Chris says, Tegan Nox coming from under Triple H desk for this match.
Oh, be nice. But that's funny. All right, well, Shayna Basler just tapped out Tegan Nox.
Is that who that was?
No sweat.
Oh, I didn't recognize her because of her
She's not even talking. Oh, there she is. She looks different.
I don't like her eye makeup. It looks like she's dead.
Well, she's done something different.
I don't like it. Don't like your eye makeup, Toasty Marshmallow. You look dead. Whatever makeup you're wearing tonight is no bueno. No bueno.
Gunther.
Harley says, my favorite dessert would be banana pudding. Salah Adine is in the chat. Hey, Salah says, hi. Hello. Good. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. People says, do all Canadians wear silly shiny hats?
No,
I think so.
Not all of them.
All of them. Every single one of them, people. And they have floppy heads and beady little eyes.
And it makes it hard for a hat to stay on their head.
And they fart a lot all the time. They just make fart jokes. James says, WrestleMania bound Cody for the win. Sophie says, if there is no Hall of Fame official announcement tonight, then what is the point? Chris says, Gunther wants Mania matchup.
So he's going to wrestle at Mania. He just said it. Ooh, almighty Bobby Lashley coming down now. Should be a good one.
Sophie says, any news on the Pat McAfee stuff?
No, I haven't been watching any ESPN or anything, so I wouldn't.
No.
But on our side, that doesn't mean something's not happening. I don't know anything about the lawsuit or anything. But anyways, we got Bobby Lashley coming down to the ring right now.
Is he just going to talk?
Well, he's not in wrestling clothes, so I'm going to say yes.
Pickle says, nobody talks about the Hall of Fame anymore. I'm not sure why you're pressing the issue, Sophie.
Nobody cares about the Hall of Fame.
If it happens, it happens. That's right. I have to use the restroom. Sorry.
Hall of Fame worthy. Oh, there's the Bray stuff.
I can't wait.
I'll try to keep up with you guys. Not on the chat, but of course it's commercial time.
Oh, did they go to commercial?
It's going to commercial. They did the Bray stuff, and now they're cutting to a commercial.
Sorry. I thought they were going to have more stuff out there.
They never have more stuff. When they introduce people, that is it. So John Cena will be on Monday Night Raw. Is Logan going to be on there too? Logan's got to show up on TV at some point. What do you guys think about Logan and Seth? Main event night one? Or whatever they call it. Go on halfway. Bum, ba-dum, bam. All right, she left me alone here. I got to turn on the chat so I can get on here. Don't want to hear myself. Now I got to wait for a commercial to play because I guess we have commercials activated, which is silly. Anyways, we are watching SmackDown. It is a commercial break, and we have Bobby Lashley out there. And right before they went to break, it showed the Firefly. So we are going to get some Bray Wyatt something, but I don't know exactly what it is. We are 3 seconds behind.
Dang it.
That's not too bad of a delay. I'll take it. I'll buy that for $1.
Nobody's buying it for $1.
$1. Cash.
Piccolo says, will this Seth Rollins and Logan match steal the show?
It definitely could, because Logan is a pretty damn good athlete. And he's a showman. And we know what Seth got. I'm going to talk about Seth, because Seth's great. And so if he did that good against Roman, think about how much better the match could be against Seth.
True. Bryce Pitts is in the chat tonight. Hey, Bryce. Good to see you tonight. Says, hello, guys. Hey, I'm sorry I'm a little late. How's everyone's day so far? Great.
Good.
How are you doing? You ready for your weekend? Sophie says it will be interesting how they decide what matches will be on which night this year. Chris says, it's not looking like Sheamus versus Gunther. Maybe at Mania it will be a surprise match, Gunther versus Jay White.
It could be. They could do something fun.
Sophie says, where did Dee go? What did Travis do?
She misappeared. But she's back now.
I had to go to the bathroom. Bryce says, hello, Dee and Travis. Hey, Bryce. Pico's like, haha, RoboCop reference. Sophie says Jay White is officially a free agent, and it sounds like he could be WWE bound, even though he showed up on an AEW a few times. Bryce says, pretty good so far. Me and my dad were watching some old movies.
What kind of movies?
Which old movies were you watching?
Well, how old are these movies? Like,
what do you
Happy
consider
Gilmore?
old movies? Vindicator, are you in the chat at all? I don't know if you're still around. I know you said you were going to take a 30-minute break, but Shayna's not on the TV anymore. Bryce says, say, did Cody and Roman Reigns talk one-on-one in the ring? Yeah, that was at the beginning of the show tonight, Bryce.
They started the show out.
Basically, Roman, like gave Cody a hard time because Cody's dad was more involved in Roman's life and training and groomed him to be a champion, but he didn't do it for Cody. So
Right. Cody got left behind.
Yeah. Harley says, have you ever heard of a dessert called Jell-O salad? Yes, Harley, many times. Many different Jell-O salads. So it just depends on what kind of Jell-O salad you're talking about.
A lot of good stuff.
Sophie says, what do you consider old movies? Like, how many years does it consider old? I consider old movies that are, like, over, like, 30 years old.
Hey, by the way, Jell-O is a food that you do want to eat if you want to live to an old age. It is one of the miracle foods.
Is that gelatin is?
Yeah, it's got, because it's made out of, like, hooves or something, or pig's feet or something.
It's made from...
But anyways, it's like keratin or whatever nails and hair stuff are made of.
Yeah.
And it's really good for you.
Yeah.
I need to see if I can eat sugar-free. I haven't even looked.
No. Sophie says, what the heck is Jell-O salad?
Does that have other stuff in it?
Yeah. It's stuff that you wouldn't be able to have. But you could probably just do gelatin. So, like, you could do just gelatin itself. And put it in other
Do the Muscle Man dance. Did you do the Muscle Man dance this week?
No. Bryce says, okay, cool, got it. Thumbs up.
You gotta pull up your pants and do the Muscle Man dance.
Yeah.
Bryce said on Monday.
Sophie said, what the heck is Jell-O salad? Look it up. Sophie says, do movies that come out a few years ago count as old? No. Vindicator says, back in time to ask Travis if he feels like doing the Muscle Man dance.
You gotta pull up your pants and do the Muscle Man dance.
Okay, Vindicator, our kitten, Leopold, Sir Leopold, became a cat yesterday. Yeah. He became a cat. He is now a full-time murderer of small things.
He's killed a mouse.
He has murdered. He has unalived things.
After he did the Chris Benoit throat slash.
Yeah.
I guess the Undertaker did.
He was very adamant about his unaliving.
Then he dropped it, and I took it, and he got mad, and then went and hunted more. But there was no more for him to get.
Piccolo says old movies to us is probably ancient to Zoomers and Gen Alpha.
Yeah, right? When I think of an old movie, I honestly start thinking of, like, Breakfast at Tiffany's. So, like, 70s back. Yeah. Early 70s.
That's what I said. Like, over 30 years ago or more is what I consider old movies. Like,
did we find out what movie he was watching with his dad?
No, Bryce didn't say what old movies. You got to give us some old movies you were watching, my friend. Sophie says, do you watch any old TV shows? Yes. Robbie says, this Funhouse is disturbing.
Bobby's beating the shit out of Uncle Howdy, guys.
Vindicator says, so is becoming a
Did I say
cat
Bray?
harder than becoming a U.S. citizen.
Bobby. If I said Bray,
How would
it's
I-
Bobby.
No.
Bobby is beating up
He
Uncle
just grew
Hardy.
up, you know. Sophie says, Gen Alpha
Oh,
and
lights went out.
Zoomers, 2 new words never heard of. Vindicator says, Leopold is getting out of his pin-up frustration with how terrible WWE has become the last 3 years. He's only a year old, Vin. He turned 1 on February 7th.
Yeah. We haven't even had him a year.
He is now an adult.
I don't remember the date we got him, but it's on my phone, I'm sure.
It's in April.
Oh, lights went out. Uncle Howdy's going to disappear. And then we got Bloodline storyline. So Bloodline's going to start the show and end the show. Because we got Solo Sikoa against Sami Zayn coming up next.
Poor
But how long
Bobby.
is that going to be until that
Like
match
a
starts?
fool. Sophie says, I don't watch old movies. I sometimes watch current movies. Cool. You
What's
should
an
probably
old
watch
movie?
some old-ass movies. They're good for you.
The storytelling is so great in old movies. They don't have to tell you what's happening. You know what's happening. And that's what I like about classics. Real classics.
He said he needs a little
more
bit
time.
more time. No, actually, he said leave him the hell alone.
He said he needs more time. He said he needs more time. No. He said leave the hell alone. To you.
I could do this to you. What do you mean to me? Sophie's like, that is Bo Dallas. That's cool.
It
Like
is
Wizard of
somebody
Oz or
skinnier.
Grease.
For sure.
Yeah, so the Wizard of Oz, yes, is an old movie, Sophie. And
That's
you should
as old
watch
as
it.
they get. And if you haven't seen that, you should probably watch it.
Piccolo says, oh, so I finally caught the movie The Mule with Clint Eastwood. What'd you think of it, Piccolo? I've seen that one. What'd you think? Vindicator says, Delita, do you still keep your spray bottle on hand when you want to go in disciplinary mode with Sir Leopold of Catopia? Yes. Because he's a
It's a brand new
butthead.
one. This one I don't think's ever been fired.
I did. I made sure it worked. Sophie says, Grease is one of my fave movies. Piccolo says, very slow burning, but it was very sad. Made me emo hard.
Definitely
Yes,
love
Piccolo,
Grease.
We're not talking about Grease. That's the mule he's talking about. Yes, Piccolo, the mule is very slow burning. Very good Clint Eastwood movie. But I've always really enjoyed Clint Eastwood. So that's kind of my thing. But yeah, it was sad. And very slow burning. I want to see the one that he just did, that Cry Macho. I really need to see that one and see if it's good. Bryce says, yes, Uncle Howdy is definitely more slim. Sophie says, I also like The Wizard of Oz. Robbie says, you can't tap your red shoes and make the wrestling go away. I wish.
Do you understand?
Yeah, Paul, do you understand? If he's not back,
In 1 week.
I'm not gonna blame Sammy.
I'm going to blame you.
I'm going to blame Jimmy.
Oh, shit.
So now it's Jimmy's fault if Jay doesn't come back.
Right.
Well,
In 1 week. So next Friday.
that's fine.
Next Friday, Roman versus Jimmy.
Vindicator says, I think Leopold just needs a fellow feline play pal to keep him occupied, but I know owning another cat would be an even bigger hassle. My grandmother once owned 4 adult cats and 8 kittens at once. Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Lord.
Yeah, no, I'm good with 1 cat. That's it. Just one. He's actually, Vindicator, most of the time he's not that much of a handful. He's still an adolescent and he's still going through his phase. So once he starts being a couple more years, he'll be chill. He's a really good cat most of the time. He can just be an asshole, which is normal. He's a cat. But the thing I enjoy most about him is the fact that if anybody comes over, unless it's little kids, even though he's kind of a little curious about now, but anybody who comes over, he's right at the door who are you? And pet me.
He wants to climb them and get on their neck.
He wants to just be their friend, although he does bite them.
He will bite people.
But at least he's willing to be out and about, where most cats hide and never come out. So I'm kind of glad that he is that way, but that's a normal Siamese type of trait. They're very social And so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I like how social he is, like around like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't like
It's one of my favorite.
4 o'clock in the morning this morning.
Is that what time it was?
Yes, it was 4 o'clock when he decided to come downstairs and be all very loud and...
He jumps right on your face.
Sophie says, I'm not a big Clint Eastwood fan. Yeah, Sophie says he's not for everybody. Robbie says, found Grease the movie disturbing.
Do you not like him in his mainstream roles, or do you not like him in his cowboy movies? Because I feel like there's 2 different Clint Eastwoods.
Yes.
You've got your Dirty Harry Clint Eastwoods, and then you've got your Western, your Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Yeah. The man with no name. His spaghetti westerns. Piccolo says some of the flying monkeys are all elite.
Right.
That's probably true. Bryce says, oh man, Roman Reigns is playing no games. Piccolo says, whoa, that's too many cats, Vin. Sophie says, message retracted. Harley says, if my mom is the Jell-O salad, she uses strawberry Jell-O and frozen strawberries.
Sounds delicious.
And then nothing else. So Harley, I grew up eating Jell-O salad, I guess you could kind of say. In our area, we have a lot of Mormons around here, and the LDS like to use Jell-O and cottage cheese. It actually comes from the Midwest. I know that a lot of Minnesotans do that with cottage cheese and Jell-O and all kinds of different salads and stuff. It's kind of big in like Iowa and Indiana, places like that. I didn't grow up eating cottage cheese and Jell-O. It's disgusting to me. But my mom made Jell-O salads, as in she'd make orange Jell-O and put like mandarin oranges in it from the can. Or she'd have cherry Jell-O and she'd do like fruit cocktail in it. Or raspberry Jell-O. And my mom, we used to have raspberry bushes when I was a kid. And so we'd have frozen raspberries and she'd put those in there. So all kinds of different stuff like that is what we grew up eating.
Good stuff.
So.
Oh, China.
Sophie says cats are evil, dogs are awesome. You know, Sophie, they're animals. Cats are cats, dogs are dogs. Piccolo says, how would you take care of them? Do you have a toe knife? Sophie says, both. Piccolo says, go the fuck off. GTFOH Frank, Charlie has a date. Oh. Vindicator says, you telling me, Piccolo? Thankfully, I don't have to visit my grandparents too often, but they just happen to own cats who love to get busy, and 8 kittens were the results.
Yeah, they will, too. They'll have kittens
Which
every
isn't
6
such a
months.
bad thing, right? But they probably should get them spayed and neutered. The problem with spaying and neutering
Fatal
too many cats is,
five-way next week.
if anybody doesn't realize that that's another way to get the Black Plague to come back, is get rid of cats. Bryce says, hello, Piccolo, how are you? Piccolo says, doing well, Bryce. Happy it's the weekend. Vindicator says, but some of the cousins took a couple of them to raise in their households. Sophie says, when it comes to actors, I'm very picky on who I like. Chris says, sour cream, baby. Seth freaking Rollins 245 is in the chat and says, the bloodline will break up at WrestleMania. Then there will be a feud with Cody and Rollins again, but for the championship.
That'd be a good one. It would be weird if they did it really fast at like SummerSlam, though. And do you have Seth keep losing to Cody? He's already lost 3 times.
Right. Sophie says, I don't know every Clint Eastwood movie off the top of my head.
Me neither, but...
Piccolo says, every time I see Road Dogg, I just want to punch him in the face.
He's like an old man now, isn't he?
I don't know, maybe.
Get up there and punch the poor
probably.
Road
Robbie
Dogg.
says, D, do you recommend any good black and white movies?
I do.
So there's a lot of black and white movies they've remastered into color, right? But there are some really good black and white movies that, yeah, I would recommend.
There's 2 that I could think of right offhand that are well worth watching. Young Frankenstein, which is a newer one.
It's from the 80s.
But it's black and white.
But it's in black and white.
That one is classic. And then there's a Christmas one. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets wings. I don't know the name of the show, but it's a really good one.
Right.
And they did that one in color, so you can watch it either way. But
yeah, but it was originally black and white. Chris says, could be Kross versus Gunther.
we watched the black and white one on Christmas.
We did, yes.
Yeah, we don't play
Bryce
around
says
with color.
that is, it's a wonderful life.
Yeah, it's a wonderful life.
But Bryce says that is wonderful to hear, Piccola. That was what reminded me of the name of it because he said wonderful. Sophie says, when it comes to funny actors, Chris Rock and Adam Sandler are my fave actors.
Nothing wrong with that. Some comedy. I like Chris Rock. Have you ever seen the one where he's like he dies and he comes back? It's a remake of a football player. Have you seen that? He dies and he comes back and he's an old rich white guy.
That's called Heaven Can Wait, and
Heaven
the original is way better.
Anyway, I don't know why what have to do with price of tea in China, but
Saying the original is better than the remake.
That's an opinion, or I'm just saying that there's a movie that he's in. Mm-hmm. That one's pretty funny. Wanda Sykes is in it, and she has some funny roles in it, too. All right, Sami Zayn did make it down to the ring, and he's thrown out the Usos. Solo to the outside. So does Sami win this?
I don't know.
Solo hasn't lost in months.
As long as he doesn't get a, whatchamacallit, Samoan spike thumb,
Right
he
to
might
the
be okay.
throat.
Sophie says when it comes to that, and then says about History of the World Part 1. Piccolo says Arsenic and Old Lace would be a good one. It was Cary Grant, and it's a dark humor. Yes, Arsenic and Old Lace is a good one.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind is another one. There's a couple other shows. But some of the ones I know that are older that I like, Lawrence of Arabia, but it's in color. Showboat, but it's more of a musical. Some of those old ones.
Jason
Robbie
and the
says, "Do you very
Argonauts, but it's
cultured
in
with
color.
black and white movies, I guess." Sophie says, yeah. Sophie says, do you think they will give Sami Zayn a WWE Championship run at some point?
No. Well, I mean, at some point, maybe, but I feel like once this bloodline stuff's over, he's over.
Chris says Sami Zayn with the Kenny Omega somersault off of the top rope.
Yeah.
Sammy's like, I can totally beat you.
It's over 200,000 now. And that one's over 100,000.
Nice.
Yeah. Going viral on TikTok.
What does it, you give your total views for the channel?
Or likes, you mean?
Oh, it just does likes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a full, but that's way bigger than it was. Good stuff. That one has 5,000 likes.
Nice. Robbie says SmackDown has been so bad tonight. How are they getting away with this crap? Sophie says
by closing it down like this.
Yeah.
That's how they get away with it.
Sophie says
because they open it with the bloodline and they close it with the bloodline because the bloodline is SmackDown.
Yeah. Sophie says about Chris Rock and Martin Lawrence's death at the funeral was funny, as Pickle says that was a remake as well. Yes, it was. Have you ever seen the original Have It Can Wait?
Yeah, it was a football player.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I own it. But
yeah, I think so. I think I made you get it or told you to get it or something. Sophie says, do you think we will see the reveal of Uncle Howdy at some point, like before Mania or at Mania? No.
Yeah, I hope so. I kind of want that to be over with. Not the story, like to end. Just
Uncle
like,
Howdy to go away?
No, not to end. I just said not to end, but just to do something different with the story instead of like we're just anticipating it to happen.
Oh.
I don't want it to all be anticipation, and then once it happens, it's nothing. Like, okay, here they are. Because it's supposed to be the Wyatt 6, although we haven't heard anything more about the Wyatt 6. But I'm assuming that Bliss is going to be in it. And then, I mean, they were showing him at that one pay-per-view, and they were all over the place, remember? And then when they threw off LA Knight from the top there, and he landed on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Robbie says, SmackDown should be 1 hour. But then they wouldn't be able to talk all the time, Robbie.
It's all about
or wrestle,
talking.
whichever one. Sophie says, I didn't see the original Death at the Funeral. And Piccolo says, yeah, you wouldn't. It's British. Robbie says, Sammy is wasted in the bloody line, better on his own.
Anyways, in A Christmas Carol, there's a few really good ones that were in the black and white also.
Yeah, some of the old original ones that they did.
I can watch any one of them. I like actually watching all of them and then reading it and then seeing which one lines up best with the book.
Mm-hmm. I think you said one of the really old ones did.
It's pretty damn close.
And the newest one with Jim Carrey.
The Jim Carrey one is almost spot on.
Robbie says, Sammy. Oh, I read that. You guys haven't done anything new. So it says, I think Bray Wyatt's storyline hit rock bottom. It seems like whatever the original plan for him heading into Mania somehow led to whatever this is.
Right.
Sure. Oh.
Is this real? Yeah, it just got real. Nothing better than onion rings. It's one thing that I would kill to eat again.
Onion rings?
I love the onion rings. But I don't eat onions, and I don't eat gluten, so it's kind of...
I wonder if you could do them in almond flour.
Probably. What could you eat besides onions?
Just onions. You do onions.
Just
have to live through the farts.
I don't fart. That's probably the problem. Is it hurts? It's a painful gas. It's not a.
Robbie says Triple H struggling for good stories. How would I know? I don't know what he does.
Struggling like a mofo.
Sophie says, I wonder how many times SmackDown will get moved to FS1 this year. I don't know.
It just depends on your sporting events. So obviously during the World Series, the MLB playoffs probably. I don't know. They don't have football games on. So you just got to think of sporting events. Maybe there might be something with March. No, they don't. Fox doesn't do March Madness, do they?
No.
What other sporting events do they do besides football and baseball? Fox.
NASCAR.
NASCAR doesn't count. And plus, they don't do Friday night NASCAR.
Piccolo says, I don't think it's the stories. It's more the talent he's implementing. Robbie says, you're watching the show, D. Am I? Sophie says NASCAR basketball, I think.
Yeah. I don't think they do any basketball, but they do college basketball, and there might be like a delay. Remember when we had that? Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a delay before SmackDown one time because of a basketball game. I think it was a football. I think it was college
football.
It
was a college football game.
It was college football, so yeah, I don't know.
So he said that. Piccolo's like squash, cornhole, little people gymnastics, furry aerobics. Furry aerobics. That's what they're going to do it for. They're going to have all those on Fox. And delay or move SmackDown to FS1 because of them. Piccolo. It's funny. Oh, ping pong, dodgeball, billiards, and dog shows. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't forget darts. We'll throw those in there too. Sophie says we still don't know about the night before Money in the Bank since that SmackDown is in London as well. Robbie says, D, I love your enthusiasm for wrestling. Oh, it's always out the window. Yeah, it's so great.
Oh, so close. Good stuff.
So great. It's like amazing.
All right, Sammy picking him up. He doesn't have the strength.
Oh. He's like, I almost got him his leg up. So he's like, it also depends on if there is any big news thing going on. Pickle says, this week SmackDown will be on the Ocho due to Southern Flip Cup finals.
Right.
Pickle. You're hilarious. So funny. Southern Flip Cup finals.
I think Solo just beat him clean.
Sammy lose?
Yeah, he definitely lost. But did Jimmy... So he pulls him out. So there's no interference yet. Nope, he beat him clean. Holy shit.
Give him the Samoan spike, huh? That's dumb.
That's
weird. I don't know. It's just kind of
Sammy's only popular because of the bloodline.
I know. I get it. I mean, Solo is good. I mean, he's an individual wrestler, so it makes sense that he should be at least on his level or better. Robbie says, D, when you going out next? What do you mean, when am I going out next?
Like for your date things that you do.
Oh, dude, I don't know. Hassan says, hi there, guys. Is this the last one? Yes, and it's over already.
It's over. Now Sammy's getting his butt beat by the bloodline.
Pico's like, yeah, boo Canada. Why are we booing Canada? What'd they do? Were we blaming them? Blame Canada. Blame Canada. With their beady little eyes and their floppy heads.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Jimmy going to do it?
Oh. Cows, this bitch, big fat bitch, this bitch.
God's mom's bitch. Oh, Sammy.
So I was like, do you think Sammy will be back where he was before this Bloodline storyline started?
Yes. Eventually.
Sure. People's like, only because Sammy was Oos adjacent, I only liked this jobber.
So Sammy's beating up both of the Bloodline members.
Robbie says D. Travis should take you out. Like out? Like.
Holy crap.
Jesus,
Plot
Robbie.
and murder?
Plot my death? It's not very nice.
What the hell just happened?
Robbie, if you've never seen, I take it you've never seen that South Park episode, Blame Canada. I don't know if it's in the episode or is it in the movie? Is that in the movie?
It's a movie, I'm pretty sure.
Longer, funnier, or whatever
Right.
for the first movie they did. I think that's the Blame Canada. But anyways, Robbie, it's South Park. It's not me. It's a song in South Park. It's hilarious.
It's a classic. Top 10 Billboard, #1 type.
Mm-hmm.
What would Brian Boitano do?
Brian Boltano do. He's a Canadian.
Figure skater.
Robbie says, "Oh, no, out for dinner." Hello. Pickle's like, since I just picked up HBO Max, I'm going to find some of my fave South Park episodes. As you should.
Some really good ones. Those wrestling ones were hilarious.
Those were pretty funny. Vindicator says, well, you all take care. See you, Trav and Delitha for Revolution. Thanks for joining us tonight, Vindicator. Really appreciate it. Have a good night and a good day tomorrow. We'll see you on Sunday for Revolution.
It was a good show, all in all.
Was it? I guess it was okay.
Because you go by what it ends like.
Do you? You go by what it ends like? Because the beginning was so bad.
Well, the beginning was all right. It was just the middle. The Bloodline put it together. Oh, I should have probably left my earpiece in.
Robbie says, I have seen South Park the movie, had it on a pirate video when I was in school. Fun. Pickle's like, bye, Vindicator. And Martha is out of here as well. Vindicator says, bye, P moderator. Pickle's like, don't forget to tip your waitress. Evening all. Bye, guys. Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. If you're still in the background, thanks for hanging out with us for this SmackDown. There wasn't a lot of stuff happening. Sammy did lose to Solo Sequoia in that last match of the main event for the evening. We will be back again, though, this weekend, guys. We're going to be back here on Sunday for AEW Revolution's pay-per-view, which starts at
7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be your pre-show.
There you go. They usually have a whole bunch of matches
There'll
during
be
the
3.
pre-show, at least.
There's always 3.
So we'll be here for that time. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again on Sunday, hopefully. Take care, everybody.
Appreciate you. Thanks for watching Wrestling Gab. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.